there everyone, welcome back to Game Finder. My name is Dave, and today we're taking a walk along the Skylines city lines with the review of City Skylines from Cosmos. Let's go. So as a disclaimer, this is a review copy from Cosmos. Thank you so much for your support. You have been helping us grow exponentially in the last year, and I can't thank you enough. Now this game is a city building game, and it looks like a Sim City kind of building game, right? Well, when I read some of the comments and reviews, that's what they were kind of comparing this to. So the production of this game, and Cosmos does a great job with their production. There is some tiles, so they're like polyominoes, I think that's what they're called, the Tetris kind of shapes, and you're building on these boards, and there are different scenarios that you can play. This is a cooperative game, but it can also be played solo, and the game is all about trying to maintain your city to make sure you have the best happiness along the lines over a certain amount of times until you build up to milestones. Once you've done that, you might win the scenario. Some scenarios are much harder than others, but the game does kind of invoke a little bit of that Sim City feel. Let me show you the production and tell you how to play and show you how that actually translates, and then we'll give you my thoughts after that. Let's go. Alright, so this is what comes in the box, and it's a bunch of cardboard, and the thickness is pretty decent. Let's go ahead and do a break real fast. Ugh, I had to use a little muscle on that one. Yeah, this is thick. It's a nice linen finish. Great product. And my favorite one is the stadium here. So the art is really nice. It's realistic top-down view of things, but done really well. And then you get your big giant boards, which look just like a SimCity kind of board. It kind of brings me back to it instantly. The coolest part, of course, is the buildings, the skyscrapers right here, and it's a pretty quality piece, easy to take apart and put together. And the cards are linen finish as well. They're medium thickness, so they will definitely stand the test of time. Iconography is pretty simple and straight to the point, and the colors help coordinate with the actual tiles, so it's really easy to see what you need to get. Alright, so that's pretty much what comes in the box. Now let me tell you how to play this game. Alright, so okay, so like I said in the beginning of the video, this is a cooperative game, but we're just going to be going over the rules as if it was just a solo play. So in the beginning of the game, you pick a scenario that you're going to be playing out. This is going to give you a little bit of leadway into what your strategy is going to be. And everybody will start off with cards in their hands and some money to boot. Then you have your land, and then you'll be able to buy more land as time goes on if you want. As you can see, the land here is broke up into different districts, and each district is signified by the road and how it's cut up. So this is 1 district, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. That's going to matter later on. Now, you're trying to race against the board or the clock, basically, and try to keep your happiness up and have these different gauges go up and down as you go. And there are some that you want to be up and some that you want to just stay even. But if you have some of the like water or the trash that's down here, it's going to knock your happiness down significantly. So you want to try to keep these in the green. This is the workers that you have here. You want to actually try to keep this in the middle, because you're going to be losing money in the case if you have it either less or more. Then you have the crime rate and all that kind of stuff down here that will affect it as well. And all that stuff rises and falls as you pay for cards and use them and put tiles down. Now, a lot of these tiles are going to have a specific tile that they want you to play, or just a specific group of tiles that you can play. So as you can see, it says residential. This, you'll be able to pick any one of these shapes that you want and just put it on the board as you want here. And the same goes for the industrial zones. So you can pick one of these shapes, and as long as it fits and doesn't cross any of the roads or anything like that, the space can stay down. But like I showed you before, like this elementary school has a specific building that it wants you to get. So you'll get that specific building, put it on down here. I don't think that is a specific building, but you get what I'm saying. And as you do that, you are losing money, gaining happiness in some cases, gaining some pollution. And if you don't have any money, you can also earn it on the cards as well. Now the goal is to try to go through different milestones, and at the end of the game you're going to go through your second and final milestone, and once you do that, if your town is in the green, in order to upgrade to a milestone you have to have one tile in each of your districts. when you have fewer boards, and then when you pay for more, it's going to be a little harder, but you'll be able to do a second milestone when you have 2 of every tile in every district. Now on your turn, you can also draw from different decks, harder decks like the 1, 2, or 3, and the ones that are higher are going to be harder to actually play, and some of these modules have cards that you can put in. They're optional, like these city news things here, which will be able to increase or decrease certain things, which I have them in here right now. But again, you can draw from any one of these piles, but you're going to want to wait and build up your city, because you're going to have to pay even more in order to get these bigger buildings and or cards played. And that's essentially it. It is a cooperative and or a solo game. You'll continue to do that until you fulfill both milestones, seeing if your grid here beats the numbers of the scenario, and if it does, then you win, and if you don't, then you lose. The one thing that I didn't really point out is you will be gauging your happiness on this track right here. I will say it right now, this looks really cool, but it's a bit fiddly. And that's it. So now let me tell you what I think about this game and give it a grade. So that is City Skylines, the board game. Now, when I give this game a grade, it gets a 72. I'm willing to play it, but it's something that does have some rough edges. Now, I loved playing SimCity when I was a kid. It was very appealing to me just to build these skylines and these big towering buildings on a whim and just see what I built. And this does kind of take that format of having something that I really like in board games, where I build something up and I get to see it at the very end of the game. But this has a really grinding kind of, I need to do this and make sure all of this is happening, or everything's just going to crumble and burn. So when I'm doing and building up these buildings, well, it's taken a lot out of me to do so. And that's in some scenarios. There were other scenarios, like the third one, I really liked. It was really smooth and it flowed really well. The first scenario, it was really hectic, and I had to reread the rules to make sure I was doing it right, because I felt like I did such a bad job on that first scenario. So I would not start on the first scenario. I would say go 2, 3, and then maybe 1, and then circle back to 4. But for every one of my plays, it still felt like I had a straw up on the water here, and I was making sure I was breathing. It was still fun. It still had that, like, ooh, I like that stadium. The art from the top down was decent. It wasn't anything like mind-blowing or revolutionary, but it was done well enough for me to say, okay, cool, I built something nice. But boy, whew, is it hot in here? Because it was such a grind in some areas. Just making sure that scale was good in some areas and pushing it up in others. Again, like I said, some scenarios were easier or harder than others, and I had fun when I was playing this. It just was grindy. Now, is it a good cooperative game? I mean, I guess. I can see an alpha player really taking control of this game. It didn't happen with me. My partner is, let's say, more clever or better with spatial awareness when it comes to putting pieces down, so I kind of referred to her a lot when we were playing it. But I felt like playing it solo, it really gave me more options and more time to kind of think about it. It made me feel more like I was playing the SimCity games, and that's where it accomplished the invoking of that game the most. When it was just 2 players, and that's as high as I went, it felt like we both were trying to do the same mind think, but ultimately there was the same move that we needed to do, and it was going to happen even if it was just 1 or 2 players. And I can see that being the same thing if it's 3 or 4. And the production, like I said, is okay. I feel like it could have been a little better in some areas. Like when that little building, you're putting that little happiness little token up, sometimes I couldn't get it in, and also like putting the little things, the standee on that building was kind of a pain. But other than that, the pictures were good. The tiles lined up really nice. The board made me feel like it was SimCity a lot, because when I was looking down at all those trees and the grid, that was the first thing that I seen, like, ooh, it looks like the computer game instantly. So right then and there, the theme kind of bled through for me, but then it kind of faded here and there. But again, this is kind of wavering. I did like it. I am recommending it to people who like city builders, but go in knowing that this might be a little on the harder side, and you're going to have to adjust to that curve. That's what I think about this game. If you're still here, you know if you want it or not. It's going to be in a link down below where you can pick it up. Again, thank you so much, Cosmos, for providing me with the review copies. I really do appreciate you, and you are so Awesome. And thank you, Vine Nation, for clicking like and subscribe, because I know you have already, right? You've done it. And until the next time that I see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with all your play. My name is Dave, and I'll be off here to the corner building my city. Have a great rest of your day and a great time with all you play. Bye. Vine Nation, we love making content here for you on the channel, and we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and help us out. This video right here, I think you'll like. This video right here, YouTube thinks you'll like. Or you can just sit here and watch me dance as a dinosaur for a little bit longer. You can visit us at our social media outlets, and we're going to be improving our Patreon here soon. That's all for today. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.